Okay, take a very comfortable seat. You might want to sit on a blanket. That's what I tend to do, sit on a folded blanket so that my hips are on the blanket and the knees and legs are off the blanket. And just that, surprisingly, that just gives just a gentle opening to the hips. You could also use a block if you're feeling like you want even more lift, you could lift up. But whatever suits you this morning, come to a comfortable seat. Make any gentle movements with the body that bring you to a place of balance and ease. And okay, close your eyes when you're ready. Thank you so much for showing up and co-creating a practice together. I've just enjoyed your presence so much lately, as has John. And I have to share with you that you are gathering together for yoga and meditation has really brought a deep sensation, a deep feeling of peace and trust. That is how it's showing up for me, this connection of weaving together, each of us in our own homes, on our own mats, going inward in our practice, yet there's something deeply connecting in that process. And trust is, I'm feeling infused inwardly and outwardly. So thank you for that gift. It reminded me of a story by the poet Mark Nepo. And he tells of going to the New York City Zoo and going to the monkey exhibit. And there were the monkeys behind a plate glass window and lots of people there clamoring, viewing, shouting, trying to get the awareness or the attention of the monkeys. And in the back were two little monkeys curled or bowed towards each other in sleep. And Mark Nepo wondered, how are they sleeping amid all the clamor? But they were, and bowed gently towards each other. And then he realized that their fingers were intertwined gently, and that connection allowed them to let go and sink into slumber together. And I just felt like, thank you for wrapping your little monkey fingers around my monkey fingers. Together we're joined in this practice, bringing that deep knowing of connection and trust and building that. And as all things in yoga, the yin, the yang, the inner, the outer, building an inner trust to our own intuition. So let yourself relax, closing your eyes if you haven't already. Relax the muscles around your eyes so that you can simply look inward, taking time to look inward. Notice what's showing up for you this morning. Acknowledge that. Rooting down, connecting, that beautiful apana energy of connection to the earth and to all that is. Trusting that connection. Let the head and the heart rise up gently, allowing for all the beautiful curves of your spine, lightly touching the lips together, relaxing the throat so that you can breathe and be in this moment. And notice yourself in this moment, being and breathing. And perhaps if it resonates for you, allowing yourself to feel connected to all of us gathered together in our practices this morning with your awareness. And then with your next inhale, bring your hands palm to palm in Anjali Mudra and take a moment to set your intention for your practice this morning. What is it you'd like to shine the light of your awareness on? Acknowledge it to yourself and repeat it to yourself. And then let it rest within for our practice together. Inhaling and exhaling together. Trusting, connecting. When you feel complete with your thought and your intention and your connection of breathing and body, bring your hands down, keeping your eyes closed. Take another cleansing breath. And then softly open your eyes. And we're going to meet in plank pose this morning as a way of aligning the body and breath and then rising up into down dog. So place your props where they're handy for you. Take your time. This is time for moving with awareness. Spread your fingers nice and wide, not overdoing it, but stretching your fingers away from each other. And then stretch your legs back. Maybe give a little mountain climber for a breath or two. Pull the abdominal wall in, and then when you're ready, lift the hips. Drop your heels and let your head hang. Extend your arms, and then maybe a little bit of movement here in the ankles and the knees. Maybe a little movement through the hips, side to side. Feel the length and strength of the arms. Let the skull hang between the biceps. Pull the abdominal wall up if you've let go of that. And then bring the feet close together. Bend the knees a lot so your heels are lifted way up off the mat. And then like a little gentle shove. Shove your heart back towards your knees. Keeping the belly button pulled up. Begin straightening your legs any amount. And then sink the heels nice and low. And as if you're putting your heart in a hammock, let it just rest. Swaying perhaps a little bit towards the earth. And then set the knees down and come into child's pose. Take your knees wide, touch your big toes together, sink your hips back, and just notice where it feels appropriate for you. Some of us have some discomfort in the knees, so only coming part way down will be enough. Go as deep as your body allows. Head rests on your mat. Taking a moment of connection and trust. And then we're going to look up at the hands and walk your hands as far as they go to the right. You'll go way off your mat. Once your hands are off the mat as far as they'll go, place your left hand on top of your right hand. And then you can put your head back down. Getting a big stretch along the left side of the body. And then you're going to bring your hands all the way over to the right onto the floor. Put your right hand on top of your left, sink your head, stretching the right side of the body. And come back to center. Interlace your hands, elbows under shoulders here. And then come up onto your knees, tucking your toes under, lift your hips up into dolphin pose. And again, let the head hang, let the head hang. Gravity keeps us so perfectly in place. Work with gravity. So we're pressing into the earth through our forearms and the feet. And we're letting gravity just take hold of the skull and tug it gently towards the earth. Take another breath here. And then when that's complete, set your knees down. Come on up onto all fours. If you feel like you want a pad for your knees here, we'll be here for a few breaths. Go right ahead. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the left foot and we're going to spin it out like a kickstand. Right? We're going to keep the toes curled under, knee stays in place, but we're just going to spin the left toes out like a kickstand. Now, bring yourself over onto your left hand and your left knee and swing up. Try to lift that back leg nice and high. Take a breath here and then see if when you bend your knee, your lifted knee, you can find your foot. And if that's available, you can spin your heart and your gaze towards your ceiling. Breathing deeply. And then we'll do the other side. So release. Now again, we're going to spin the right foot out onto the floor. Gently rock into that right hand and the right knee and lift the left leg skyward. You can flex your ankle. That really does bring extra zing to your posture. Lifting and lengthening and then bending your knees. See if you can find your foot. It's funny how sometimes in these postures when we hold our foot, we're like, where did my foot go? Turn your gaze, turn your heart, and let your little monkey fingers find your foot. Breathing deeply, connecting to yourself. And release. Come back into plank pose. Get nice and long here. As you exhale, with your knees up or down, we'll slowly lower together. Tops of the feet come down, elbows in. Lift your head and your heart towards your ceiling. And then exhale, lift up into downward facing dog. We'll take a deep cleansing breath here. So just pedal away if you'd like. Moving synovial fluid through the joints, warming things up. Keeps our joints nice and limber. Now, inhale into plank, again, knees up or down. With your next exhale, slowly lower. Separate your feet, elbows tucked in. Lift your head, lift your heart. You may wish to close your eyes to more deeply feel the lift of heart energy. With your next exhale, yogis, come back into downward facing dog. And again, finding stillness or a bit of movement, trust your intuition, learning what's best for you. Learning as we move and breathe together. Inhale into plank and exhale to lower. Inhale, sweep up into Bhujangasana. Lift and lengthen, tuck your elbows in. Now press your 10 fingertips on your mat. Pull back isometrically. Pull back, flowing with heart energy. Third eye lifted towards your ceiling. Exhale, come back into rabbit. So tuck your knees to touch, feet touch. Sink the hips back. This is the one where we go all the way over the legs, forehead on the earth, hands cupped open to receive. Shoulders relax,
Relax your jaw here, like a little hibernating rabbit this winter, hibernating in the cool earth. And then you're going to begin lifting your hips bit by bit, coming up to the crown of your head a little bit so you get that sweet traction in the spine. Take a deep breath there and then sit back down.
Come out slowly. Come back to plank pose. Lift up into down dog. And then look at the center of your mat and take one big step with each foot to the center of your mat. And then walk your hands back. Clasp opposite elbows. Place your arms around your head like a picture frame. And then slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae, begin coming up to standing. Allow your head and your crisscrossed arms to be the last bit of you that comes all the way up to standing. And then tiptoe your fingertips down your triceps and draw the arm bones back and then pull up on your triceps and release. Go nice and slow here. Go super slow and roll the shoulders. Inhale, lift up. Take a hold of your left wrist and slide to the right. Chin away from sternum, lift your gaze. Maybe pivot your heart towards the ceiling if that feels okay in your low back. Come to center, release slowly. Allow the shoulder complex to really open up with range of motion, right? Getting away from gripping and holding into trusting and opening. Inhale, lift. Take your right wrist, peel to the left. Once you're in your crescent shape, slide your arm bones back and maybe turn your gaze and heart skyward. Good for the neck to do a little twisting. Come back to center and release. Take your feet beneath your hips. Make sure all 10 toes point forward. Lift up. Exhale, dive deep. Inhale, lift halfway as you lengthen. Exhale, nice deep bow. Inhale, reverse swan dive, swing up. Exhale to your heart center. Inhale, we lift up together. Exhale, we dive deep together. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, deep bow. Inhale, reverse swan dive, swing up. Exhale, heart center. Now step your feet to the edges of your sticky mat. Again, all 10 toes point forward. Inhale, lift up. Pause here, rooting down and rising up. Let the shoulder blades relax. Lift the gaze, lift the heart. And with your next exhale, interlace your fingers behind you. Take those little trusting monkey hands behind you. Explore touching your hands together, but if it's too intense, let go of that. Rooting down, lift the heart up. Exhale, hinge at your hips. Pause here at the halfway mark. Lift and spread your toes. Lift the inner arches of your feet and keep the arches lifted as you lay the toes down softly. Keeping this range of motion by lifting in the arms, take the tailbone back. You'll notice a little shift in your weight into your heels. Keep that. And then drag the collarbones forward softly as you lift your abdominal wall. Take a deep breath here. And then gently come on up to standing and release slowly. Take your feet to touch now. Tops of the feet touch, little gap between the heels so that we have our leg bones aligned. And then sit down for Utkatasana. Now look down, and if you cannot see your toes because your knees are covering them, shift back into your heels, pulling the knees back. Now you're going to dial your tailbone towards the earth just a little bit and lift your arms. As you exhale, come to heart center and take your left elbow over your right thigh. Get long here as you turn your heart. Stay right here or open your arms nice and wide. Take a nice deep cleansing breath and come back to heart center. Sit back in the heels and press on up to standing. Inhale, lift. Exhale, sit down. Again, draw the knees back to reveal the toes. Dial the tailbone towards the earth. Hands to heart center. Stay here or pivot your right arm over your left thigh. Staying with Anjali Mudra, turning your heart towards your thumbs or opening your arms nice and wide as you look to the left. And again, taking a nice deep cleansing breath here. Come back to center, back in the heels, and press on up to standing. Inhale, we lift up together. Exhale, diving deep together. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, take a nice deep bow. Inhale, reverse your swan dive, swing up to standing. Hands come to heart center. Close your eyes. Notice what's happening inwardly. Being and breathing. Rooting down, rising up. Letting your heart lift and open. Practicing standing on the earth. Open-hearted and connecting with heart energy, all of us together, connecting with heart energy. Connecting to yourself with an open heart. And release your hands, open your eyes. Take your bricks if you're using them this morning. One behind each heel in our wide open hip poses. That's peaceful warrior, also known as fearless warrior, and all the gorgeous variations of that. So lift and spread the toes, lift the inner arches, lay the toes down, lift the arms up, rooting down and rising up. As you exhale, let the palms come out to the height of your shoulders. As you connect down and your heart lifts up, just notice the heart energy coming out the arms, out the fingertips, filling your room, this beautiful, pulsating, vibrating heart energy. Pull the triceps up to the arm bones. Hug the muscles of your legs to the bones of your legs, and then flip the palms over, turn the left toes out. And then begin bending your left knee till it sits right over or just behind your heel, whatever feels like it's the most supportive to you. Inhale, we lift up together, straightening that left leg. Exhale, we pulse back into a deep bend. Inhale, we lift and open. Exhale, come into fearlessness. Inhale, we lift up and lengthen. And exhale, fearlessness. Pause for a single breath as you take your gaze over that left hand. And then press into your feet. Swing your left hand up, taking this mudra and lifting into exalted warrior. Lifting, lengthening, opening. Draw that lifted arm back gently, opening up your heart and throat and mind. Exhale back into fearless warrior. Now, draw your right arm in front of your solar plexus and swing your left arm back, curling into a bit of a crescent shape. Inhale, exhale, swapping out the arms. Inhale, we glide back. Exhale, we swing forward together. Inhale, we sweep back. Exhale, we glide forward. Dig deep into your mat with your feet, and maybe just for a breath, slide your arms and fingertips all the way to the left side of your room. And then press on up into exalted warrior once more. And really let the solar plexus open here. That's where that big, strong, flat muscle, the diaphragm is. And so good. So we breathe deeply and give that diaphragm plenty of room to pulsate down and up with our breathing. Okay, yogis, simply take your hand down, turn the toes. Everything that we just did on the left side, we're gonna do on the right. So as you turn your toes, lift your arms and exhale, float them down, rooting down and rising up, expressing heart energy, that vibration of heart energy. Pull the triceps up to the arm bones. Ignite the organic energy of your strong legs. And exhale, bend your knee. Flip your palms over. Make any little movements needed to bring the knee either over the heel or just behind it. Getting a nice deep bend. Here we go. Let's move and breathe together. Inhale, straighten and lengthen. Exhale into fearlessness. Inhale, we lift up and we open together, and then exhale your way to fearlessness. Inhale, lift up, open up. Exhale, fearlessness. Extend. Cast your gaze over your forward fingers. Lips are lightly touching. Feet are rooted. Now, straighten that right leg and bring yourself up into exalted warrior. We make this little mudra with our fingers, and it stands for finding your way in the universe. Trusting and finding your way. Exploring, experiencing, trusting. As you exhale, bring yourself back to fearless warrior. Plant the back edge of the back foot down and swing the left arm in front of the solar plexus, or kind of like embracing the energy of your solar plexus. And then right arm over the ear, make a crescent shape with your rib cage. Take a nice big inhale. Exhale to switch the arms. Inhale, swing yourself back. Exhale, swing yourself forward. Inhale, glide back. And exhale, glide forward. Pause here. Feet are planted, but not rolling into the arches, right? Use the heels, the outer edges of your feet. Maybe pick this right arm up and slide your fingertips towards the right side of your room. Strong in the legs. Dig deep into the earth, push down to cartwheel up. Making that mudra once more, lifting, lengthening, opening. You can roll some of the weight of your skull back if that feels good to you. And release. Now turn the toes. Inhale, lift. Exhale, take a nice deep bow. Inhale, lift yourself halfway up. Exhale, nice deep bow. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Swing yourself up. Exhale, come to your heart center. Close your eyes. Notice yourself your authentic self, being and breathing. Feeling the heart energy. And perhaps for the next breath or so, breathing in to the third eye, that place in the forehead that kind of lights up when we meditate. It's our deepest knowing, the seat of our intuition. Softly open your eyes, take your hands down, roll the shoulders. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, float your hands down and turn the left toes once more. Now, take your your right hand to your hip. Swing your left hand to your brick if you're using one. If you're not, you can take your hand right down to the mat. Try to keep a nice prana line from the tip of the tailbone out the crown of the head. So that requires not hanging the head and not pulling the chin in, just letting things align. Now, with your hand on your brick, if you're using one, you might want to take a little crow hop in here, and then take your brick out in front of your pinky toe, oh, good 18 inches or so, and draw up with your right leg. Now you can stay right here practicing balance in this way, or if you're feeling like you want to explore a little bit this morning, hinge at your ankle, by that I mean flex a little bit, and lift your right arm, maybe even lifting your gaze. And then bend your standing knee, come on up, we'll do the other side, right? That's a big trust builder as we start rolling our heart open on all our balancing. Inhale, lift. Exhale, float down, taking up lots of space here. Turn the right toes, bend the knee. Here we go, we're inchworming our way into this deep heart opening posture. Now, left hand to left hip. Swing your right hand to your brick or to the floor. If your left leg is way out behind you, it might help the shift of weight forward if you do a little crow hop in. And then you're going to take your brick way out in front of you so that when you come up into your balance pose, your brick is under your shoulder. Lift up nice and high with your back leg. It's fine to stay here. This might feel like enough. If you're feeling pretty solid, you can begin opening by rotating your rib cage, maybe lifting your left arm, keeping a nice prana line in the body, lifting, lengthening, and opening. And then bend your standing leg to come on up. Here we go, monk's pose. Heels in, toes out. One way to do monk's pose, if you find it challenging, try sitting on a yoga brick. And you'll start getting the body ready for this kind of balance. For many of us, it's the Achilles that prevents us from coming fully into the pose. Just a little tightness in the Achilles or in the calf muscles. And that will just give way and release and stretch over time. So don't worry too much if your heels are lifted up. Lift your heart, take your hands out in front of you and push into the air to come all the way up to standing. Turn the toes. Inhale, we lift up together. Exhale, we dive deep together. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, deep bow. Now, bend your knees quite a bit, placing your hands on your calf muscles. You can take the tops of your feet to touch again. Now, really draw the skull into a hanging down position, releasing any clenching of teeth, clenching of jaw. Relax that, let that release, and then begin straightening your legs any amount. Your legs might come to straight, they might just be kind of straight. It's all fine. Yoga is never about what a pose looks like, it's about what it feels like. So just notice this, and then release the hands down. Hands to hips, come on up to standing. And we're going to take eagle pose together. So what I'd like you to do is start by getting your feet comfortably beneath you. Relax. Let the energy flow. Lift the heart. Lift the gaze and give a little bouncing to the knees. And then decide which leg you want to start with first as your standing leg. And take your other leg around. So it can be toe up, toe down on the floor for support, or toe wrapped around behind your standing leg. Take your wingtips to your heart center and then open up some great big eagle wings and fly through clear blue sky. And then take your wingtips to your heart and we'll switch sides. A little bounciness for healthy joints. And then your wrapping leg will come up or down or around. And when you're ready, wingtips to heart center, and then open up into clear blue sky. And release. Here we go, yogis. Inhale, we lift up together. Exhale, we dive deep together. Inhale, lift up halfway, and exhale out into plank pose. Inhale into plank, and exhale to lower. Inhale, lift up into Bhujangasana pose, lifting, lengthening, opening. And exhale, downward facing dog. Take your feet to the edges of your mat here in down dog. Slide your heels towards the earth and really press the hips back a little bit. With awareness, just take the hips, move them back. You'll notice that the abdomen is ready to engage. So pull your abdominal wall up towards the spine. And again, let the embrace of gravity just drag the skull into a nice neutral position. No effort needed here. Holding as we lift and lengthen. And then step the feet into regular downward facing dog. Look at the center of your mat, bend your knees and hop right into the center. And then take your hands back, hands to hips, come on up to standing. And we're gonna take warrior one together. So what I'd like you to do is step your left foot forward and step your right foot way back. And warrior one symbolizes showing up. And it's also a very complex pose physically. So push the back heel down gently into your mat. Start with a slight bend of the front knee, hands to hips. Take your left hand back, take your right hip forward, bend that forward knee more. And if you need to kind of inchworm, because again, we don't want, the front knee will line up either over the heel or a little bit behind it. We just want to avoid pressing the knee forward because of all the tendons and ligaments in the knee joint. Now with the hips in alignment as best possible, really strengthen, use the organic energy of your back leg and inhale to lift your arms. And then as you exhale, do a pull-up. Inhale to lift. Exhale, do a pull-up. Once more, yogis. Inhale, we lift. And then exhale, really pull yourself up. Lifting and lengthening. Now, arms out in front of you, straight and comfortable. Palms open. Straighten your front knee. Swing this right hip forward. Take the left hip back. Notice if you can feel some golden energy sparkling from the back heel all the way out the palms of your hands. And then hands to heart center. Bend the forward knee, step on up. We're going to do the other side. So this time we're gonna let the right foot be forward and the left foot be back. Start with inchworming around your mat so that you feel safe for movement and comfortable, but you're opening up, right? Opening up. So hands to hips, anchor the back heel down, pull the right hip back, send the left hip forward, and bend the knee, that forward knee a little bit more, and maybe inchworm into your posture. When you're ready, inhale to lift. Take a nice deep cleansing breath here. Really engage the organic energy of that back leg. You can feel the heel connecting downward, and then the heart and mind lifting and opening. With your next exhale, do a pull-up. Inhale, lift. Exhale, pull. Once more, yogis. Inhale, lift and open up. And exhale, pull yourself up. Now, arms comfortably in front of you. Straighten your front leg. Turn forward, palms open. Swing the right hip back, left hip forward. Notice if you can feel any sparkly energy from that back heel all the way out the palms. And hands to heart center. Turn the toes. Here we go, yogis. Inhale, we lift up. Exhale through your heart center, all the way out, down into a nice, deep forward fold. Hang the head. Take a couple of deep cleansing breaths here. If you want to inchworm your feet further apart, getting lower, go right ahead. You may put your head on a brick. You may put your head on your mat. Whatever works best in your body, in your practice. And then press up gently, heel toe together a little bit, hands to hips, and hop your feet together. And then take your right foot behind your left heel. You're going to be kind of perched on the ball of the foot. Lift your heart. There's going to be a little bend, a little bounciness in the knees. Lift up. Take a hold of your right wrist and glide to the left. More of a balance challenge than you might think. And come back to center. We're going to do the other side. You're going to swing the left foot behind the right heel, a little bounciness in the joints. Lift up. Take a hold of the left wrist and go over to the right, lifting your gaze, opening up. And release. Inhale, we lift up together. Exhale, each of us through our own heart center into a nice deep fold. Pause here. Take your favorite forward fold. It might be clasping your arms. It might be holding your big toes with your peace fingers, drawing yourself in. It might be hands to calf muscles. Whatever lets you get that sweet release that gravity brings to the skull, to the shoulders. Pull the abdominal wall up, hands to hips. Come on up to standing. If you're using a brick this morning, grab it, put it along the long edge of your mat. Come into wide-legged posture with toes pointed straight ahead. And then hinge halfway. You can have your hands at your brick if you'd like. You're going to begin bending one knee then the other. You could have your hands at heart center with palms kind of making a connection to the heart. And just see about swinging side to side. Maybe find a little speck on the wall in front of you to keep your gaze on as you go. Come to center. Now, either take your right hand to your brick or to the floor. So just notice what placement, what lift keeps your spine parallel over the floor, letting your neck and head be an extension of that without dropping the head or pitching forward. Sink back in the heels a little bit, drag the tailbone back, abdominal wall up. Now take your left hand to your hip, and if you don't have a brick this morning, that's fine. Hand can be on the floor. Get nice and long, and then pivot your heart towards the left side of your room. You want to keep the prana line long, heart open. Stay right here, or lift your left arm, unless that becomes kind of a distraction or uncomfortable. You do hip or lift. Either way, the real purpose of this posture, among many, is twisting in the spine. So where you put your left hand is secondarily. Breathe deeply. And then slowly uncoil back to where you were to start. And now your left hand is going to be your pedestal, and your right hand will be at your hip. Get really long. We really want to stretch like a slinky or silly putty. We want to just stretch and glide out. And then begin turning the heart towards the right side of your room. Keep your prana line, yogis. Keep it open and flowing. And then maybe lifting the arm, turning the gaze, letting the whole little aquarium inside of you slosh to the other side. And come back down with your hand. Sit back in your heels softly and gently, hands to hips, come on up to standing. And then step or hop the feet together. Move the brick if it's in your way. Here we go, yogis. Inhale, we lift up. Exhale through heart center, out into plank pose. Inhale in plank, and exhale to lower. Inhale, sweep up, Bhujangasana, let it flow here. Let your love flow, heart open, connecting to all of us connecting in this moment with heart energy, open hearts, open minds. This beautiful connection. Thank you for showing up, curling our little monkey fingers together. Exhale, child's pose, knees wide, big toes touch, sink back. Just notice what feels good to you right now. Is it arms extended and opening up the armpits, or is it pulling the hands back by the heels and releasing through the shoulders? Do what feels right for you and your body. And then gently, gently bring yourself on up. And we're going to come to seated for a nice deep twist. So take your right foot out in front of you. Step your left foot across and rock right up onto the base of the whole hip and pelvis complex. Hold your right arm around your knee, swing your left arm behind you, lift up through the crown of the head. Now really press forward with the right heel as you pivot your chin towards your back shoulder. Now lift up through the crown of the head, close your eyes, and just notice yourself breathing deeply in this moment. See if you can pull the abdominal wall in gently, and then step the spine one step deeper into your core. Let your heart lift and open. As you exhale, unwind to center, and we'll do the other side. Left heel presses forward, right leg steps across. Left arm wraps around, right arm wraps around your waist. You're going to sit right up, full expression of length in your spine, Pivot your chin towards your back shoulder. Close your eyes, relax the jaw. Relax the tops of the shoulders. You might find you're able to broaden and create more space at the top of the lungs by just letting the shoulders peel back a little bit and allowing the throat to open. Being and breathing. Pull the abdominal wall in. Step the spine one step deeper into the core. As you keep pressing through the left heel, lift up. Breathe deeply. And then uncoil back to center. And you're going to take your left knee in, left foot in, place your left hand down, swing your right leg out, toes pointing skyward, and really push, lift, and stretch. Lengthening. And release. We'll do the other side. Draw the right foot in, push the left leg out, toes pointing skyward. Right hand down, lift, lengthen, open. And release. Now point your toes out in front of you. Hands come back. Pointing your fingers off to the sides like little flippers. Scrunch your shoulder blades toward each other. Pull the abdominal wall in and then lift the hips up off the mat. Then once you're in place here in upward facing plank, you can let some of the weight of your skull roll back. Engage those big muscle groups on the back of the body to open the front body. And release. Now, pull your heels in, yogis. Pull your heels in. Toes point up. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold over your knees. Maybe you'll be able to grab your toes. If not, your shins. Rock the shoulders back. Stay right here if this feels good. Or begin straightening your legs any amount. Now, when we do these deep folds, we want to feel the letting go, the lengthening of the muscle fibers, the release of tension in the belly of the muscles. If you're feeling it up where your leg bone inserts into your hip, that's the origin site, and you don't want to pull on that at all. That means you're going a little too deep. So look for a nice tug in the belly of the hamstrings and hold there, wherever that greets you. Pause there. Lift your head and look way out over and beyond your toes. We don't want to hang our head here. We want to create a cervical curve. We want to lift our gaze and snuggle your heart right down towards your knees. And release. Come on up. Now gather up what you're going to use for Shavasana and have it near you. As always, I recommend putting a brick over where your head will be. And come on down. Once you come down, hug your knees into your chest and draw your nose up towards your knees, getting your shoulder blades up off the mat. Pull your belly in, getting a little teeny bit of core engagement here, and then roll your ankles, and then roll them in the other direction. And then put your head down, put your feet down, and put your left ankle over your right knee. Open up your arms like goalposts or like a cactus. And then heel toe your right foot over one half step or so. And keeping your shoulder blades planted, just take your legs, let them stay glued together over to the right until you feel the sole of your left foot touch the mat. Pause here and close your eyes. Give yourself permission to let go. Come back to center. We'll do the other side. Left foot down, put your right ankle and up on your knee and glue it there. And then just a little walking over to the left. And you're gonna plant your shoulder blades deep on the mat so they don't move. And pivot through the hips slowly, noticing until you feel the sole of your right foot tap down on your floor. And pause here. And then gently bring yourself back to center and take a full body stretch. Arms overhead, maybe point the toes or flex at the ankles and press through the heels. Just notice what feels good to you. And release. Place your feet on the mat and then glide the soles of your feet to touch as your knees go out to the sides. And gently begin bending your elbows, bringing your elbows down until you get a nice deep release in the shoulder complex. Close your eyes here. And then just notice the spaciousness within. Notice if there's anywhere in the body where you feel like you did create a little space by letting muscle fibers and held tension release in your body. Breathe into that. And then draw the knees up towards each other. And then we're going to bend the knees in towards the chest and clasp at the outer edges of the feet for happy baby. And soothing yourself, rock side to side here, ever so gently. Side to side, rocking, soothing ourselves. And come to center. Put the feet down. Take a hold of your brick from overhead. Lift your hips, slide the brick beneath you, and take a full body stretch. Lengthen your body over the brick, perhaps interlacing your fingers and stretching back. Giving a little hug, perhaps with the elbows, so that we work on range of motion and opening the body fibers, the soft tissues of the body, as well as swinging open the architecture of the body, the bones. Bring your arms down alongside you, relaxing your jaw. Close your eyes. Feel all the support beneath you. So much support for us. And then bend your knees, feet on the floor. When you're ready, lift your legs straight up towards your ceiling. Let the fluids of the body reverse direction. Let the heart rest. Let the skull sit on the earth, and let the brain just sit at the back of the skull. Now let your feet come down when you're ready. Do it nice and gently and slowly. Remove your brick. Cover yourself with your blanket if you're using one. Perhaps rock your head just a little bit from side to side, finding the perfect place for you to rest. Being and breathing your authentic self. Lips just lightly touching. Keep your awareness inward. As we prepare for a shared guided meditation.
Breathing. Breathing and trusting breathing and trusting the flow of your breath. Breathing and trusting the flow of your breath as you would the guiding, strong hand of a loved one touching your hand, touching your heart as you breathe. Steady and sure, resting, peaceful, trusting in yourself. Noticing your body. Noticing the flow of your mind. Not fighting your thoughts, just noticing them. Noticing your thoughts, feeling your body and the flow of your breath, trusting who you are as your breath and your heartbeat. And your conscious good choices guide you like the trusted hand of a loved one. Nothing forced, allowing your brain, your breath, your heart, your body, and your spirit, your energy, however you define it or allow it to be defined, as the embrace and the grace The texture of this yoga practice and a quiet meditation allows you to sink into the earth, part of the earth, like a still, quiet, living, beautiful mountain. A beautiful mountain, your body, your mind, your spirit. Noticing your breath, possibly counting your exhalations to 10. Possibly bringing to mind a word or a phrase that has meaning to you. Maybe picturing a mountain, the earth, the water flowing near you, a river, an ocean, a lake. Resting, allowing your mind and noticing your breath on the earth with the water flowing. And as the breath flows easily, trusting the oxygen, trusting the next breath, as the air also rises to the sky, into the fathomless universe, or the heavens, on the earth and by the water and with the air, and also warmed right now in winter, no matter where we are near the equator or not, to be warmed by the sun and the fire. The fire also gently burning within our heartbeat, where you notice your heart's truth on the earth, water, air, fire, resting, trusting peacefully as the silence embraces you, as you reach out and touch all life in all directions with love and kindness, easily, purely. Eyes resting, gently blanketed by the warmth of your eyelids, and yet therein is a slight light, a golden light. Eyes resting. Sound of your breath, and the quiet of your home. The wind and the music to come. The sound of a loved one's voice. Breathing a little deeper, inhaling and exhaling through your nose. The clean fragrance of your own being. The clean, clear fragrances of winter. Be they blossoming or be they frozen. The resting sight, the quiet sounds, the clean fragrances. And as your face really relaxes, allowing that beautiful face, so lovely and framed, to just relax with no one watching. Your lips lightly touch, and your tongue touches the roof of your mouth as you notice taste. Resting eyes, soft sounds, clean fragrance, sweet taste, and your fingers, your toes, the warmth of your body, quieting of your mind. Yes, a quieting mind, a resting body, and a connecting spirit. Extraordinary gift of another breath and another, and a day before you. As the full moon cycles and wanes to another kind of fullness. As you rest now within the quiet of your graceful practice. The energy rising, the energy releasing, the energy filling you with clarity and calm. Also allowing challenges of existence and the periodic suffering that's inherent within existence to reach your heart, to not hide, but to live with the challenge and then somehow find a way to let it release with joyful effort. The joyful effort that is often represented by a smile and kindness to yourself and all life in all directions. Within the grace and the pace of the silence and your breath and the trust. The trust and the knowledge that what you do makes a difference, your yoga practice, your quiet meditation, your work, how you treat yourself and one another, and nature, and differences, while the silence of the earth and the water and the air and the fire touches you deeply, trusting you. This breath, this peace can be returned to anytime as we connect right now, all of us, everywhere, recognizing this is it, your precious life.
With your next inhale, lift your arms up overhead and give yourself a full body stretch. Get very comfortable on your mat. And take a deep cleansing breath. And when you're ready, bend your knees, roll to your right, and make your way up into a seated posture on your mat. Bring your hands palm to palm in Anjali Mudra. And with your eyelids closed, notice the energy of rooting down and rising up. Thank you so much, yogis, for showing up and co-creating this practice together. The support, the love, the trust that flows between us is nothing short of miraculous. It is such a joy to share this path with you. The light in John and me shines on and honors the beautiful light in you. Namaste.
Namaste.